Welcome to Monday, December 18th, 2023. This Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Hot Springs County Travel and Tourism. Reminding you that as temperatures get colder and snow's coming at Thermopolis, you can always find yourself in hot water. Well, mild December weather is on tap this week for most of you. And good opportunity, as this shot here by Carl shows, for the deer to get out. Wind River Basin country still has a lot of snow cover from that Thanksgiving storm, but certainly this break in the weather, good for the wildlife, especially after the winter weather they had to suffer through a year ago. And for most of you in the Rockies and the High Plains, boy, it's going to be really nice. I mean, great. Temperatures will be above normal. There really won't be much wind. We're looking at plenty of sunshine. A lot of what we saw over the weekend in many areas will continue as high pressure is over this part of the U.S. But it's stormy on the coast. The West Coast, is going to have rain, snow. The East Coast, as some of you saw watching football over the weekend, getting rain and then eventually some snow. That'll continue. But the middle of the country is going to be very, very quiet. Now, later in the week, into the Great Basin states and the Southwest United States, you're going to start to get into the precipitation as well. Then, after this period of good weather through Friday, are we looking at a white Christmas? It's on the table, I'll tell you that. Things have really started to unfold in terms of what could come together, but we still have a lot of question marks. But we are looking at potential travel concerns this weekend into Christmas Monday. So we'll show you that here in a moment. Great shot here from Lyle from a hot air balloon in the Salt Lake area, Payson, Utah area, the Utah Valley. Here you can see a classic setup of strong high pressure overhead, and you can see the inversion. See the inversion right there that valley's famous for in the winter season. The balloon showing that there. You can see the steam coming up and hitting that inversion right there. A beautiful shot. Now we're going to show you two satellite imageries from an eastern perspective and a western perspective. Here's the stormy weather in the Great Lakes and the East Coast, a well-formed, strong storm system here. But the snow is really on the back edge of it. It's mostly rain at the moment, but there'll be some snow back here in the Great Lakes and parts of the Northeast later on. But look at this big area of nothing, right here in the nation's midsection. Now you see this cloudiness here along the West Coast, and we'll take a look at it from the western perspective. The low here off the West Coast is just kind of spinning around. It's eastward movement. It's just not really happening. There's going to be some high clouds coming eastward, but this area of low pressure here is really just having a hard time moving eastward. It's running into this big high. So what it'll do is it's going to slide down the West Coast like this into the southwestern United States, while this area of low pressure here is going to want to come in and trail in behind it. Now, this guy right here and this guy right here are going to end up merging, and we'll show you that later. If you look out across the Pacific, it's very busy. Here's another very strong jet stream coming across the North Pacific. So we're kind of bottling up all the energy with this big high here. Think of this high as kind of like a dam, and then that dam is holding back the weather at the moment, but the dam is going to break. You can see on the 500 millibar chart here this morning, that low off the West Coast. Here's the one up to the north of it, but that big ridge here in between, and then that low in the Northeast. As we go through the week, this is by Wednesday. So notice these two here begin to merge into one. And that system just sits off the coast of Northern California, pumps rain into the West Coast. So California, going to get rain. The Sierra Nevada, going to get some needed snow. But the southwest flow into the Rockies keeps us very mild and gives us that beautiful weather. But as we go forward past Wednesday into Thursday, we're going to see things begin to move off the coast and towards the Rockies. But this is the precipitation forecast through Thursday morning. So there is a lot of real estate here where there's really very little going on. We're going to get some showers here in northern Mexico and southern New Mexico later in the week from moisture coming off of this low. But you can see California going to get really wet, the Pacific Northwest, the Great Basin states into Utah get in here by Thursday morning. But really through Thursday and probably most of Friday, there's not much going to be going on. And that's through Thursday in terms of your snowfall forecast. Not very impressive, at least across the lower elevations, although you can see the high mountains here are going to get into some snow. Things begin to change, though, by Saturday. That same low is all the way down into northwest Mexico, but we've got another low coming in out of British Columbia, diving southward. So this is where these two systems are going to come together. And this is what may lead to a change in the high plains and Rockies to winter weather by this weekend into Christmas Monday. There's a lot that has to happen. There's a lot of moving parts, so this is not a slam dunk. But it does appear as though these two areas of low pressure, this one feeding cold and some Pacific moisture, this one bringing warmer, moist air with it. You put that warmer, moist air together with this colder air coming in out of Canada, that's a recipe to really get things going, cause a lot of instability in the atmosphere. So this is by Saturday morning. By Saturday morning, you're going to start to get some wintry weather up here, maybe moving into western Wyoming, the Wasatch Front, and some precipitation from this low will spread snow into the mountains of Utah, southern Utah, Arizona, into northern New Mexico, and southwest areas of Colorado. Then there's that merger of the low, the main low, taking shape here in northern New Mexico. So this opens the door to colder Canadian air. Upslope around this low here over southern New Mexico gets it going, and then that storm kind of slows down and heads to the east, northeast, into the upper Midwest. This is by Christmas morning. But we have some, as you would expect, some differences we got to sort out. This is the European model, which, if true, would be cold and snowy for the Rockies Sunday into Monday. This is the Canadian model. This is the GFS model. Now, they're not all exactly the same for sure, but they're telling a similar story. And the similar story is one of a transition to colder weather, wintry weather, especially by Sunday, Monday, but starting during the day Saturday. And if this all comes together, this is how cold it could be, a big transition from very mild to much colder. The mild air shifts into the upper Midwest, while the West gets a lot colder, and the potential for snowfall in this region certainly goes up if we see all these parts, all these moving mechanisms of the atmosphere coming together by Christmas weekend into Christmas Day. So we'll keep an eye on it for you. In the meantime, enjoy the nice weather.